Good afternoon. Today's video is one I've been wanting to do for a while. I hope you enjoy it. The title of the video or the subject is Driving the Philippines, or maybe I should say, should you drive in the Philippines? But hope you enjoy the video. I don't know how many have driven here in country, but to give you some of my background, I've driven for about 3.5 years here, and I have driven somewhat over 100,000 kilometers, everywhere from Subic Bay area, Clark, Baguio, down through Manila, over to all the way down to Bicol in that region. So I've driven quite a bit, driven all over, so I do have some experience driving here. This is a video that you should listen to because if you've thought about driving here, but you have a quick temper, then it's probably not the best thing to do. If you get road rage easily, probably not the same thing to do. But you have to have patience to drive in country here. Things to look out for, I'll go over next. Things to look out for are sudden stops. You'll be going down the road. It could be a highway, it could be just down a street, and the car in front of you will just do a sudden stop. There's no indication, no warning until they hit their brakes, or they'll be wanting to pull over in the road with no indication. So you just gotta kind of keep your distance. I call it here defensive driving on steroids. You really have to watch. Things also you have to watch for is turning from the wrong lane. You might be in the left lane, there's two lanes going in your direction, and a car from the right lane will want to get over, and they'll give you, again, no indication usually, and they'll just turn right in front of you. So, I mean, you really have to keep your distance here, keep your head on a swivel, as they say. And kind of like when I used to be on an aircraft carrier, you're walking on an aircraft carrier, you always had to have your head on a swivel or it might get taken off. So that's definitely true here, driving in the Philippines. Okay, next thing I'm going to talk about is some more things to look out for. Motorbikes. If you've been, whether you've driven or not, I'm sure you've seen motorbikes or scooters that just cut in front of you. They don't pass on the left. Like you would think. They pass on the right, they pass on the left, they'll cut in front of you. If you leave the slightest gap, they'll cut in front of you. And a lot of times it's hard to stop, hard to see them because they come out of nowhere basically. And it's sudden moves. I know recently, within this year, I guess, been bus accidents going from Olongapo to Barreto, where I think the bike cuts in front of the bus. The bus, of course, can't stop that quick, and thus the bike rider takes the bad part of that. So you definitely have to watch out for that. And some of the things that's on the road here, it's so many things different than probably you've ever experienced. One is motorbikes, jeepneys, trikes, cars, trucks, big trucks, small trucks, buses, bicycles, and then also pedestrians. So there are so many things to look out for here in the Philippines if you're driving. I'm just trying to make you aware of it. If you've driven, then you probably know some of this stuff. If you haven't driven here, you might not know as much. And it's definitely different if you're riding or you hired a driver versus actually driving yourself. And what I'm talking about is my experience from driving myself. Crossing the road here can be dangerous, so you got to watch out for pedestrians there. I know every time I see people cross a road in Barreto here in Olongapo, you always kind of like hope they get across because it's dicey sometimes. When I've crossed the road, I try to wait, try to watch, but even then it's tough sometimes to get across the road. So just be careful, watch for the pedestrians. Okay, some of the other things I want to talk about. Things you got to look out for. Running of stop signs. People Driving here will run stop signs blatantly, traffic lights, it doesn't really matter. So you have to always, again, be a defensive driver and just watch for all these things. Another thing you got to be careful for is cars here will just park in the roadway. Some will put their hazards on, others won't, but they'll stop kind of on the side of the road, but they're definitely blocking the lane, and they'll just get out, go do something, and come back. I see it all the time. So just be careful of that. It can happen suddenly, or you'll come up on it and you'll have to get around the vehicle. So just watch out for that as well. Another thing that's very popular here in the Philippines is just pulling out in front of people. So there might not be no one behind you, but it's like right when you're coming, the car or truck will pull right out in front of you. Could be a Jeep, could be a trike, but I don't know if they're not looking or what the deal is, but every day that happens, where someone will pull out right in front of you. I had yesterday, I'm going along and it's a 4-lane road, and they've got kind of a illegal U-turn place, and I'm coming back from the other direction in the left lane, and his car pulls up, I guess all of a sudden does a U-turn back into my lane with no signal, no warning, and just does this illegal U-turn and cuts right in front of me. So that was very bad. But in general, as you're driving around, you'll see just cars. Be careful. If you see a car on like a side road or something, just be aware they may just pull out. Whether they see you or not, they'll just pull out on you. So just be aware. Next, I'm going to talk about crossroads and crosswalks. So what I notice a lot is you'll be coming up on a crosswalk, no one be in there, there's no stop or anything, there's no one in there, but they'll stop. So just be careful of that. A lot of people will. What I find kind of funny though is I've seen it where I'm going along and someone will be in the crosswalk, and it's like target practice almost per se. So you just have to be careful of those things. Also, stoplights, you know, or crossroad, I should say. So you're going down a highway, you're just coming up on a street, it's a crossroad, and they have a stop sign, and yours is a through road. You know, you're going along, and they'll just come right out. I know a couple people here that's been hit like that. They're going along, all of a sudden this car just comes out and smacks them right in the side. So please be aware of that as well. Just have to look everything all the time. I guess that's the biggest thing, is your eyes have to be doing a 360, have to constantly be looking. Like I said, keep your head on a swivel. Another thing I want to talk about is what I call lane straddling. Whether you're in town or out on the freeway like the SE-TEX, NLEX, or whatever it may be, where cars especially on the freeway, they'll drift from one lane to the other. You'll see them just slowly drift over, not sure what they're going to do. There's no signal or anything, and then they'll go over, they'll kind of ride the other lane, and then they'll go back, they'll get in the middle, kind of go back almost like a drunk driver. But that's not most of the time the case. It's just for some reason they have a hard time staying in their own lane. A lot of times I'll come up on a vehicle thinking they're going to move over. They don't. They're going really slow. So I'll just pass them on the right, in the right lane, and they won't move out of that passing lane. They're on the left. I know when cars come up behind me, they're going faster than I am. I just move over to the right lane, let them go by. I try to ride in the right lane as much as possible, but there's a lot of slow trucks and things like that, or cars that you just have to keep in the left lane because there's so many of them at times. But yeah, that's lane straddlers, so just watch out for that. I mean, they'll just drift. Usually I have to blow my horn or something just to let them know, hey, you know, kind of move back in your lane, get their attention or something. But yeah, and then a lot of times, you know, people will ride in that left lane. They will not get out. for no matter what. And this is not unique to the Philippines, don't get me wrong. It's just I see it kind of more here because I've seen it in the U.S., other places I've driven. So like I said, it's not unique to the Philippines, but just something you need to watch out for. Another thing is, I kind of mentioned it briefly earlier, but a lot of times they'll turn from the right lane going left, and they'll turn from the left lane going right instead of being in the correct turn lane. So be careful of that. Another thing I see a lot on SBMA is got a couple intersections. One is notorious for this. You come up and there's a through road and there's a left turn road, and then it's a four-way stop. Well, the light's always flashing. The light is hardly on except maybe on Sundays. So as you come up and you're waiting in line, a car, because they don't want to wait, they'll come up in the turn lane and go. And sometimes they don't even stop, not obeying the first stop, first go. They don't do it. And many near misses I've seen recently just because they're trying to beat the other cars. And some of them stop and do what they're supposed to, but then they go straight from the left lane. Others don't even bother stopping, they just blow through it, and that's a bad thing too. I mean, that's a key here. You got to follow that first stop, first go. I know they give out a lot of tickets for that, not following that here, or some people can't figure it out. I don't know what it is, but it's really not that hard. And these blatant, I guess, using the wrong lane for stuff is what causes some accidents and like I said, a lot of near misses. So be careful of that. And this is my public service announcement, I guess. Just fair warning, I haven't seen it so much here in the Longapo area, but in Manila, I had an incident last weekend where normally I always park in secure parking. Where I was going, the parking was not available, so we knew there could be an issue, but parked right on the street in front of our destination, right across the street. Easy, place right there. And so it was okay the first night. Second night, came out getting ready to leave, start to drive off, and I noticed my right mirror was missing. Not the mount, nothing, just the mirror. And then I watched a video on it later, and they showed how thieves are doing that. They have just a little device, even if your mirror is folded in, they'll just stick it up there. It takes a matter of seconds. They pop it out, and it's done. And the bad thing here is I thought you could just replace the mirror. No, that's not the case, at least what I've found so far. You actually, they want to replace the whole mount. Well, the whole mount is about $700. So it's quite a bit of money. I think it's like 35,000 pesos. That's a lot. So I'm just giving you a fair warning. Probably if you have a chance at all, make sure you're in a secure parking area that you can trust. Like I said, I didn't like where I had to park, and it bit me. So that's my public service announcement. Just be careful in Manila. I've heard them stealing tailpipes. They'll steal, like I said, headlights. So if you're parking like that, I mean, we had to go out and check everything on the vehicle, make sure nothing else was stolen. Luckily, they just got the right mirror. So be careful if you're driving in the city, or having to park in the city, I should say. But that's my public service announcement.